Hey, we're live.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Mouth guitar noises. Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up, Bro. It's WuBro Wednesdays. I feel like a
radio DJ.
Yeah. You're listening to WuBro Wednesdays at 98.7 The Bone. Or whatever the thing. Or is that a real radio station? The Bone?
I feel like that.
I feel like that is. Hey, thank you everybody who's checking us out live on Facebook, and thank you for everyone who's listening to us in the future on the audio pod. They're in the future. Steph.
Yeah, I think they're like 3 weeks or a month.
Who knows? But they are in,
we're in the past.
The very future. Hi, my name is Mike Mercadal. Neri is on assignment again. Actually, Neri is out in the middle of the ocean. But the internet, let's just say, is being problematic. And now I'm forced to run the show. And with me is Stephanie Mayer Sr.
You did it too.
I did it too fast. I don't hold it out.
No.
I don't delay it.
No.
The
most left wing of the co-hosts are left to their own devices today. We're going to end today's podcast with screaming "Eat the rich."
Oh, we're gonna get in so much trouble. Fuck you, Facebook, or whatever. We're gonna get in so much trouble. But there's a lot of stuff in the news. And look, I know we always wait to make sure we get everything that we post in the title said verbally on the show. So I'm just going to do it now. And there is
bullet point it.
But we're going to do it now because it's like if you are a fan of anything, the news has got you covered. There is literally Eminem and Dolly Parton get nominated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's a combo.
It's shocking that Dolly Parton is not already in
the
World Hall of Fame, like the Hall of Fame of human beings.
Yeah, you would think I'm pretty sure I thought she just owned Nashville.
I guess. Well, she if you talk to friends of the show, my dad and my stepmom, Tony and Yolanda, they live up in Dolly country. I have been. They had annual passes too. Dollywood.
Ooh. Oh wow.
Dollywood is
what
way
is
better.
Dollywood? Like what?
Dollywood is I will preface it by saying it's so much better than what you think it is.
Okay.
Dollywood is a theme park that is Dolly Parton themed, and it's basically like I want to say it's like Disney Light. There are rides, there are shows, there's music, and it's in the mountains of Tennessee, in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
So kind of like a state fair.
No. It is a theme park. It is a full-on theme park. It is Dolly Parton themed. And then it talks. There's like a ride. There's like a mine shaft through the mountains of Tennessee. There's a bald eagle preserve, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, it's way cooler than you think it is. And since I've been there, they have added a water park on the other side. It is fun as hell. So not only is Dolly Parton an amazingly talented musician, she's also incredibly philanthropic by giving away
genuinely good
millions of books. She is an incredible theme park designer.
So I wonder if if Disney engineers are called Imagineers, or Dollywood's
Dolly
Dolly designers.
Dolly.
In my head, I'm just going.
See, this is why we don't get paid the big bucks that Dolly did when she designed her fucking theme park.
I know.
She's so good.
We should be quicker.
Yeah. I always think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, there has to be some story that it's all like, rigged. And it's like getting your star on the Walk of Fame. Like, you buy that.
Yeah.
Like, at a certain point, you just I've been on TV. I'm going to buy a fucking star. You know what I mean? Like, Shrek
I was so
has a star.
disappointed the day I found that out. That was like one of those random, I learned this today and I'm sad about it.
Well, all of those Hollywood awards are super sketch. Did you know the Golden Globes never happened on air because of all the shit that's going on with the Golden Globes, where they don't have a diversity minority person on the people who vote.
Oh.
The Hollywood Foreign Press, that's who does the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
They are
not foreign.
What?
Not foreign.
Not well, I don't know if they're foreign or not, but they're definitely all white. And they rather than deal with the repercussions and the backlash and address it on air, they just we're not going to air it. You know what I mean? They were just we're not going to
yeah, we're not dealing with this.
Pico, what's up in the chat? Pico, what's up, bro? That's exactly the name of this program. Thank you for joining us. What do you want to talk about? Because we have Eminem and Dolly Parton getting nominated into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Eminem, I feel like, is worthy of this. He was game changer, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I feel I think he opened up rap for a lot of people, whether that's for the best or not.
Bringing it back around.
I'm a big,
I mean, he was genuinely a good rapper. You can't say.
Yeah. It wasn't he bought into it either.
Right. Nary, the internet allowed him to post. Somebody buys a star on the Walk of Fame, but not necessarily the actor themselves. That's right.
Can it just be anybody?
Could it be anybody? I want to buy a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for a random low level, not B or C. I'm talking about low,
an
level.
SVU actor, someone who a bit player,
You know, the guy that doesn't stop loading the boxes to be interviewed by the police?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. The one guy from that John Mulaney bit, find that particular guy, him.
Yeah, that guy's going to get a star.
Because he's been referenced in 2 places.
So if you're into music, and just in general, Hollywood Hall of Fames in general, there's that news. Then if you're a sports fan, and more specifically like I am, a Miami Dolphins fan, there is a lot going on because apparently
I need to know what this is. I need a breakdown.
I have to read it out of the title, Steph. You know the rules.
Yes,
I have to read what is in the title at some point on the show. Yes. Brien Flores sues the NFL. Dolphins accused of wanting to lose. Okay. It's a little bit more than that. He is suing. Brien Flores got fired. And then he is suing the entire NFL and all of the owners. Yes. Questions? Yes, you, Stephanie Mayer Sr. in the back.
Who is Brien Flores?
The head coach.
Okay.
He is the head coach that they brought in a couple of years ago to fucking whatever the Dolphin rebuild. I don't know. We've been rebuilding for how many decades now?
Yeah.
And so he was basically, if he's come out and say that the NFL's racist, surprise, surprise, that all of the owners of the NFL are white, and basically they don't give minority and black coaches and players as much representation as they should. And he just listed a whole bunch of shit with black head coaches. For some reason, that's been a big deal. And there is a lot going on because it definitely goes into the way owners hire people and that you have to give opportunities. There's like a rule now in the NFL that you have to give an opportunity to a black or minority head coach. You have to interview a certain number of people, but it's all for show. And it came out that, so in the way it came out, Bill Belichick. So Brien Flores used to be an assistant or offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. I can't remember what it was, for the Patriots.
Okay.
Under Bill Belichick, this legendary
Him I know.
head coach. Yeah, Bill Belichick,
Yes.
the guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody knows he cheats. He's a bad guy. Blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. Everybody hates him in Miami.
Yeah.
Then he goes and texts when he was applying. Brien Flores wanted to go work for the Giants, and he was going to interview with the Giants. And then he gets a text from Bill Belichick, his former boss, congratulating him on the new position. Hey, I heard you're the guy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm so happy for you. And he's like, yeah, I'm still interview. I don't understand. And then Bill Belichick's like, no, it's you, man. It is absolutely. And now I want to find the actual text.
So
because I'm reading.
He got
I'm
the
reading
heads up early.
Yeah, well, basically saying that they interviewed him and they were never going to consider giving him the job anyway. It was just like kind of a show, and they were gonna, this other guy who also happens to be named Brien.
Oh,
yes. So have you ever been texting one person and then accidentally like send a text to the wrong person? Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Now imagine you just revealed an incredibly racist hypocrisy in the NFL. Oops.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So, like, what exactly did he like? Do they have a copy of like what exactly he wrote?
Yes, because this motherfucker submitted it as evidence.
The receipts. He posted the receipts. This is the most interesting football has ever been.
There's so many fake ones now that it's hard to like.
Yeah, parse through.
Okay. Oh yeah, he goes. Sounds like. Oh, hold on. No.
Oh wait, in the comments, we have. Neri did a clarification.
Oh yeah, Neri. He got the text before he even interviewed.
Oh damn! So he went into the interview knowing he wasn't going to get the position.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Damn.
I'm telling you, it's like cringe. My full body cringe.
Oof.
So Bill Belichick screenshots from this guy's phone. This from Bill Flores
Right.
from Brien Flores' phone. Sounds like you have landed. Congrats. And then Brien Flores, did you hear something I didn't hear? Giants? With like exclamation marks and all kinds of shit. And he's like, I interview on Thursday. I think I have a shot at it. Got it. I hear from Buffalo and New York Giants that you are their guy. Hope it works out if you want it to. That's definitely what I want. I hope you're right, Coach. Thank you. Coach, you are talking to Brien Flores. I imagine there was like a gap there because it's two separate messages. He's like, oh, thank you. And he's like, Coach, are you talking to Brien Flores or Brian DeBole? Just making sure.
Ooh, I wonder what happened on his end that made him realize that he could be talking about somebody else.
Well, because he hadn't interviewed yet. He hadn't all of this was coming out of like, I'm sure it was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then,
bro,
I can only imagine that
sucks having a common name.
Yeah, too many Brians, and then he writes back later on, like in the afternoon, and I would imagine there was some thought process. Somebody called somebody's lawyers or something. It was like, "Hey, sorry, I fucked this up. I double checked that I misread the text. I think they are naming DeBole. I'm sorry about that. BB, like very formal." And he's like, thanks, Bill. I've sent some wrong text messages in my day, you know what I mean? Like to the wrong person.
But never telling someone that they're not getting their job. Wow.
What's the worst oops text you've ever sent?
Shit, I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm pretty paranoid.
Have you ever text? Oh, really? You like double check? Has it ever happened to you like that someone did it? Like sent you the wrong text and it was
but like innocuous stuff, like just like really just like, oh, I'll be right there, but like little just nothing. It's ever been like what?
To be fair, I've done it. I don't know if I've ever done that kind of thing where I'm like, yo, what the fuck is up with Kevin? And I send it to Kevin. I've never done.
We were just talking about this a couple weeks ago. I actually was messing with you in our group chat one day, like, and you didn't know what we were talking about because we were all talking about accidentally screenshotting something to talk shit about somebody and then sending it to another group chat.
Right.
And I did it in ours on purpose. And I
Right.
think you thought I was actually upset at you. And I'm like, no, Mike, this is a
I was
reference.
like, what?
This is a reference. I'm not actually upset at you.
I'm too pure of heart.
I know.
So that when you send me things about me being a dick, I'm like, wait, am I? I
I'm
don't
like,
want to
no,
be
no.
a dick. I'm sorry.
I'm like, no. This is a joke.
The this is good.
Ooh, what?
Eric Izquierdo, and he mentioned the Bills. So that means that the Bills were coordinating with the Giant or whatever. That means that there was some behind the scenes shenanigans. Okay. Eric Izquierdo, thank you for the clarification. Pico, a coworker sent nudes by accident on a work WhatsApp group chat.
No.
Yeah, that deserves a laugh cry emoji. Pico.
Oh.
Oofa doofa.
Oh my God.
Is there any coming back from that? Do you just quit?
Do you just like, I'm sorry, I'm calling him dead?
We're like, yep, I'll see myself out. Thank you. Also, if you could delete the pictures of my cooch and or tits.
Yeah. Like, does that count as workplace harassment?
Or whatever. Huh?
Wait, does that count as workplace harassment if it's by accident?
I'm sure that there are plenty of dudes that would try to use that to get away with.
True.
Oops. I'm sorry. I sent this to the. Oh, it was a he. Okay.
Yeah.
Aha. He deleted it, but some of us had seen it. and I think implied there, Pico, some of you can't unsee it.
Yes. It is now burned in our brains forever.
Because I'm sure there are dudes that would have been like, I'm so sorry that I sent you 16 pictures of my dick.
In different situations, wearing costumes.
I meant that for a different group text of different people. Oh, man. Oh, that's brutal. Oh,
Neri's saying that a wrong text he got.
Oh,
yeah.
I got a congratulations text when I announced my engagement, and then immediately got a text that said, yeah, he's engaged. Let's hope it's not that he got her pregnant. Yes, I love it. Yes, I love it.
I kind of feel like I'm missing out.
Shit,
now.
bro, call in, man. I want to hear that story.
For real.
The only one that so I've never done. Okay, I don't know if this is worse. I have not done the text. Maybe like I slipped here and there where I was like, oh yeah, whatever, but nothing like egregious. But I have been talking shit about somebody who is right behind me.
Ooh, the he's right behind me moment from the movie.
Yes, I have had the full on. I'm like, yeah, well, from I know a guy who I know, like it was some guy, and I was like, yeah, some girl like a good friend of mine used to date him. He was a piece of shit and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, I could see, you know how like when you see someone's vision go from the like looking at you to suddenly looking off to the side and then looking back at you, and then it's like,
hi,
he's right there.
This is gonna be an awkward 20 seconds.
No, yeah, it was he. To his credit, either he didn't hear it or he pretended like he didn't hear it, and then I never saw him again. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do we have any more so the Dolphins being the eye of a shit hurricane is not a new thing, apparently. And also, one of the things, as a non-sports person, how would you feel if you heard that a team was paying their head coach a bonus of $100,000 a game to lose on purpose?
What?
So if in the NFL, the worse you are in the records in the for the year, the better your draft pick is for the next year. So that means that if you suck, you have a chance of getting the best player in the draft in the next year, and in order to keep the teams balanced and even and whatever. So
you're thinking, okay, so that one side of that coin is it's an actual strategic play to throw things so that you can set yourself up for the future thing. But I think you're kind of screwing a shit ton of people in the process.
Yes.
And the fans. And you wouldn't do shit without the fans. So what are the fact you expect these people to hang on just because you're like, hey, we're going to suck this year, but it's for a good reason.
Right. But I wish I knew the rules of doing that openly. There was a thing in the Olympics in badminton that is very similar to that sort of thing, where at a certain point, the way that the teams lined up, the number one person played the number like it had to do with something like in the way the next games were played. So if you won your like a bunch of the countries, if they won their next match, they would then be playing the number one team, the best one, and they didn't want to do that. So there was two teams, and this happened many times. Two of the badminton pairs, or whatever you call them, were fighting each other to lose. So it got to the point where these matches were lasting so long that the officials were going up to them and was like, one of you has to score a fucking point or you're both disqualified.
Damn.
Because it was that obvious, like, oh, these are Olympic level athletes, and they were like scratching every time, they were hitting it into the net, they were doing stuff when just hours before they were playing Olympic level badminton.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is that if you have like a desire to get a draft pick and you start sucking, if there's no rule, then everyone could just be sucking to get the draft pick. So then it's just like a bunch of teams trying to suck and a bunch of teams trying to beat the teams that's like beating the teams that are trying to suck, getting higher records and go to the playoffs and shit. Like it's just like it's pandemonium.
Yeah. It seems like really poorly structured.
Yeah.
And like I know that a part of it is to actually try to give people an even chance, but people are trying to loophole that shit, and then it's just throwing everything off to begin with. Like, there should be shit in place where it keeps people accountable. Like paying a coach to suck, it just makes it feel like the entire fan base is that girl who's just waiting for her boyfriend to get his shit together. And then like the entire time you find out he just wasn't going to those job interviews. And like
interesting.
Right?
What an interesting perspective.
Like, and he just wasn't going to job interviews because he had like a good tip from a friend that he could potentially get a job with his friend's company, but he's lying to her in the meantime. Like,
wow, yes, yeah, that's true. Interesting.
And you're like, your bitch, we just gotta pay rent though. Like, so
yeah. Well, so here's again, Steph. No insult to you, but you are not the sports person of the What's Up Bro family.
No, definitely not. I am only speaking from the maybe a spectator.
But even then, I do appreciate it. So I used to do a thing when I used to do Unsung Heroes here, this live show in that I used to do up here. We would do a thing where we would do brackets and people would have to pick, and it was brackets of random shit. It was kind of like Mount Geekmore, but at the end we get a winner. And the rule was only the person on stage gets to pick who wins between these brackets, you know, like a tournament.
Okay.
And there were times where the guest would not know either of the things. Like they would be like, I've not seen, like we did one about mobster movies, right? And someone came up and they're like, I have not seen either of these movies. And my favorite thing in the world was to ask them what they thought the movies were about based on purely on the title.
Oh, that's fun.
So sometimes you get a kick from people not knowing what's going on because you have a complete outsider's perspective now.
Yeah, like Goodfellas versus Casino. Like,
yeah, and if you've not seen either one, you're like, what is Goodfellas about? And you're like, I'm assuming it's ironic and they're bad, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We got a comments. I think,
props to Flores. No, like Quills. What's up, Q?
Did he put a lot of other stuff out there? Like, I mean,
okay.
Him putting Bill Belichick on blast is a lot.
Not only that, it's a 58-page lawsuit. A 58-page lawsuit where the first like huge chunk of it is just like racist things that the NFL has done. And then like only like a few, like 4 pages are his things. And then like another 4 pages are something else. And a bunch of it is like John Gruden being racist. And the thing is that this is the first time that, as Q put it, he has receipts. So he's literally put it on blast. Now, Flores is a smart guy. So he for sure he got lawyers as soon as he got fired because he wasn't cooperating. He was not like cooperating with the losing for the draft pick. And that was always this friction and blah, 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 blah. And then he gets fired and he's like, fuck it, I'm burning every bridge I got because who's going to hire him now?
Yeah. It's very like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Eric Izquierdo again. No lie. I take the money and I'm in the Super Bowl this year with Joe Burrow. That is with Cincinnati, who's in the Super Bowl this year.
What?
So the year Steph, the year that this was supposed to go down was when like Joe Burrow, who is the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, he got drafted first round. If we could have had him if we would have sucked.
Oh, all right.
And he is so good that the Cincinnati Bengals, who were arguably a bad team, are now in the Super Bowl. Like, he makes that much of a difference. So Brien Flores, again, should he have just done it? I mean, he'd be a genius head coach. People would be looking at him like, yeah, he fucking took the Dolphins to the Super Bowl and he drafted this amazing rookie quarterback. Yeah, like he would have been a genius, but he didn't play ball and he didn't do the thing, so it's like a moral conundrum.
Yeah.
Like whose side do you
And
think?
here's the question. Would Ted Lasso do it? The answer is
Ted Lasso do it.
I don't think he would.
Is
Therefore,
that the extent of your knowledge?
That is the extent. Back in the day, when I was like 13, I was a cheerleader for a year. So my extent of football knowledge is like Pee Wee football when I used to cheer for it. So like
JV, yeah.
Like I can follow a game. I know how a game works. Now put that in a professional settings and the drama that is the functioning of the association. Nah. But this stuff is fucking fascinating.
Yeah,
because
the
I'm
drama.
just like, the drama of it, I have no idea. But like, you sit here and like tell me about the drama of like the Hollywood studio system, then I'll sit there and I'll be like, yes. Go.
Okay,
So
that's literally
I'm looking at it this way. I'm looking at it like, okay, like
the Dolphins.
Are you trying to get an Oscar next year? Or you're trying to actually put a good movie out in the movie theaters.
I would love to see a like full-on documentary about the drama of the Dolphins front office. There has been a few years ago, I was doing a podcast with my friend Dave Kinney, comedian, very funny. And he has a podcast called Saving the Dolphins, Saving the Fins, PHINS on Twitter, Saving the Fins. And we at one point we were recording every week about like after the games. And it was like the year that one of our players or one of our linebackers went missing for 24 hours. Like they literally filed a missing persons report on this guy. And we came up with this like elaborate story that he's actually like a CIA assassin. And he was like on a mission. Then he comes back and he starts playing and nobody said anything. They were just like, yep, he's back. And we're all like, what? Then that was the coach that got busted sending selfies of him doing blow at his desk to a stripper that he was cheating on his wife with. That was awesome. There's so many things, Steph. So many things. It's like the days of our Dolphins. It is a fucking novela in that office. I'm here. What
would you name? What would you name a documentary about the Dolphins?
I don't know.
All I got in my head is like the Dolphins, like dead in the water, like something.
Dead in the water? No, but there's
like,
the days of our Dolphins.
Days of our Dolphins
is pretty good. I just came up with that on the fly, and I'm gonna write
that. Is fun. So that's just the drama. I want to talk about like the deals and the
yeah, for sure.
Like, oh my god, this is like the most active I've seen our comments.
Yeah. Let's go.
Talking about this.
He has receipts. Let's go. Pico. Why is it called a shuttlecock? That's got to be an inside joke. Badminton shuttlecock. I get it. Yes. That's the rub of being a Dolphins fan. We suck, but we still cheer. But what if we were not as bad as we thought we were?
But like that's the thing. It's like the girlfriend who wants the boyfriend to get his shit together. You're like, good job getting out of bed.
Okay, this is extreme hyperbole, but my running gag whenever I watch like a game at the Dolphins bar here in New York and with my friend Dave, we're always like, it's always like, God, this is extreme hyperbole, and I'm not equating the two things, but like abuse victim mentality of like, no, they apologized and we're rebuilding. It's better, and they're better now.
Like when you're ignoring all the red flags.
Yes, and then so we would always talk about like even if we were ahead by like 3 touchdowns, we'd be like, hold on. They still might find a way to fuck this up. So, like, relax. We've been hurt both ways before. You get too happy and they lose. You get too sad and they start winning and they're like, oh shit. So it does feel like that mentality of like super cautious, like, And now, what if we weren't as shitty? How long has this been going on that Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, has been paying the head coach to lose? What if like Joe Philbin, this shitty coach that we had, is like the best coach we've ever had, but he was like forced
Just
to
doing it on purpose.
or
and,
he's
like,
just like, yeah, I'm just gonna write out my retirement. We're gonna
Yeah.
suck. And
he's like, look, I
that's
have
it.
I have some debts. I have a kid who wants to go to art school. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Tony Sperano cheering a field goal. He's like, yeah, it wasn't a touchdown. I get my $100,000. Okay. Eric Izquierdo, Ted wouldn't. Ted
He
would not
wouldn't.
cheat.
He wouldn't.
He would not.
I know
you
this
never
much
put,
about football.
Yeah. Q, you never put your guys out on the field without the aim to win.
Right.
Interesting. But is that in the best interest long term? Interesting.
But the thing is, if you
perspective.
actually try, you could probably actually start being good.
It's that thing I always say about like those incel dudes where they're always like hating on women, and I'm like, yo, if you like focused on yourself for like 10 minutes and just like really like turn inward and make yourself like improve yourself.
Maybe start negging inside.
Yeah, like turn the neg into go instead
into
of this,
self-analysis.
Like yeah. And you might accidentally turn into a fuckable person. You know what I mean? Like they always talk about that shit. It was where it's like, oh, it would be like Major League. Like this is real life Major League. Major League. The lady wanted the team. The owner wanted the team to lose so she could sell the team and move to Florida. Then they start like find out about it, and then they're like, fuck you, we're gonna win. This could have been their Major League moment, but it was not. Eric Izquierdo, I agree, but we were 0-7, could have pulled it off. We could have. We were super shitty last year, and then we just started winning all of a sudden.
Why
and
not that, though?
I don't know.
It could have been a comeback.
The Bengals, they won 4 games last year. They arguably is a polite way
of saying
that. You know, like, hey, I don't mean to say they fucking suck. Arguably, they suck. You know,
Yeah.
Hey, someone might argue against it. Probably a Cincinnati Bengals fan. I mean, it's not like, hey, boys, go out there and lose. More like, take it easy and have fun. And if you lose, we'll still have pizza. That's a Ted Lasso thing for sure.
No, but like at the same time, like even them losing on purpose in order to get some sort of position, it is one of those things where like everyone complains all the time how like us millennials and younger people have participation trophies and get kudos for not doing well and da-da-da. But that is literally people getting paid like millions of dollars for the same shit. Like for just being there. Like they might as well try to fucking win.
The problem with that kind of thing of this losing is that there are players on the field whose very contracts are affected. Like football players get paid per game. Like they don't get like their contracts are based on like these big numbers. They get millions of dollars or whatever, but it's basically per game. Mm-hmm. So if they miss a game or if they're out, or let's say one of these people in the suck season has a career-ending injury and they go down because, you know, like we were playing like shit and on purpose, you know, and then his whole life ends without a chance to kind of redeem himself because he gets hurt.
Yeah.
The
because
players
someone on the side was getting paid more to not get them in that position.
Right. Which then gets into the racism of it all, because all of the owners of these teams are white and 70% of the players are black. So it becomes this thing of they're viewed as so much property. You know what I mean? Like these are tradable commodities. They're not,
which does not have a fun connotation to it whatsoever. The historical like connections.
All right, here
all.
come the fucking lefties. The draft is essentially a slave auction and the blah blah. Yeah, fuck these people. But it does.
It's people's.
He raised that question, and it has come up in the past. John Gruden got fired because he was super racist in a public email, like in a work email where like it's available to be seen. Your work email is visible to everybody. Never send dick pics or nudes.
Yeah, look, if you're gonna be an idiot,
work email.
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna be a racist, don't be a racist idiot.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of drama. One of my favorite movies is Any Given Sunday, because like it goes into like the CTE ahead of its time. It was early on with Lawrence Taylor getting concussions, and then he has to get how many sacks to get his bonus. fucking Steamin' Willie Beeman, where they make the black quarterback athletic versus the white quarterback who's got the good arm and he's intelligent. Like there's a whole lot of stuff going in that movie, and I genuinely enjoy it. Have you seen that movie? You might like it.
I don't think I have. Wait.
Al Pacino is the head coach of the Miami Sharks because they can't use the NFL.
That feels like, actually, I think that's something I watched when I was like a kid.
Cameron Diaz is the owner's daughter, or that inherits the team, some shit like that. Yeah, she's.
Yeah. I barely remember. I do remember that though.
Famous Al Pacino speech. It's a game of inches.
Yes. Like I remember like key shit. Like I don't remember the movie.
One of the best halftime speeches in film.
Yes. And I remember like even when I was younger being like, this part's cool.
Like
just like what is this? I don't know. I feel motivated right now.
All right. Now, as a Dolphins fan, I loved talking about this, but are you okay? Can we move on from the Dolphins drama as it unfolds? It's been all over ESPN. It's a huge fucking lawsuit.
And the thing is, I'm wondering because like sometimes we when we do our live shows, like fine, everyone who's watching along with us, they all are on top of it. Mm-hmm. When our shows come out on some of the podcasts like networks and stuff like that, we're a few weeks behind. I'm wondering in the future how much other bullshit and drama has come out, and are we going to like listen back on this and be like, you simple fools, so much was coming.
Yeah, I mean
that's usually the case.
That's absolutely. Like there's the running gag on this show is that some incredible topic will drop literally minutes after we record. Like something incredible will happen in the news like minutes after we record. And then we have to be like and then we're like, we message each other and we're in the WuBro chat, like, fuck, like, shit, we could have talked about this. But yeah, I don't know.
I think let's just blow through some of the comments about the story before we move on.
Okay. So oops, my computer just freaked out. Okay.
Oh, no.
Neri, they were a legit. Yes, we get it, Neri. You hate the Bengals. Fine. There's so much drama in football. Deflate gate. That was in the Olympics. There was like where the balls deflated to give them extra grip. The Tom Brady Patriots balls were deflated.
I heard of.
You heard about it? See, these are big news, and that's not the only time they cheated. The Pats cheating. Lol, so many things. Culpepper. Oh yes, that's when we drafted. Oh my god. We gave up being able to draft Drew Brees, who is like a Hall of Fame quarterbacker and won Super Bowls for the Saints.
That name I actually recognize. I recognize
Drew Brees. You recognize?
Yes, I actually recognize. Oh, okay. Drew Brees. There's some things that don't escape me entirely.
Right. Well, we could have had the chance. Like, there's so many like near misses with greatness that the Dolphins have had. Like, Wes Welker was this amazing receiver in New England. For the Patriots, he was ours, and we just like got rid of him. We've gotten rid of so many people, and they all go to the Patriots and do well, which is extra hurtful. Like it's whatever.
Maybe is that why Bill Belichick gets like, excited about certain shit because he knows people are just going to throw shit to him.
Yeah. Pico, I don't know much about sports, but I'd take the money. Yep. I mean, I don't know what side of this argument I would land on presented with the situation. I don't. Q, if I didn't stand for the Gator flop, I can't be for strategic losing.
What's the Gator flop?
Fuck, I don't know. What was the Gator flop?
Ooh. Wait, I don't recognize that one. I know Deflate Gate. I know that reference. I don't get this one.
Gator flop.
If I didn't stand for the Gator flop, I can't stand for strategic losing.
The bizarre. We can watch and put a YouTube movie on here.
Can we?
I don't know. The Gator flop.
Okay, someone in the comments now that explain to us what this is really quick.
Okay. Oh no, I'm not gonna watch this whole thing. From 1971. Q, you are not that old. What the fuck are you talking about?
I didn't stand for it. She's talking about her previous lifetime where she did not stand for it.
I realized Q is 87 years old. I didn't stand for it then, and I don't stand for it now.
Right now.
I don't know why.
My morals tell me it's wrong.
My Lord does not abide me to be able to withstand this fallacy of Gator flopping. I don't know why I gave her that accent because I think everyone from Gainesville sounds like this.
Yeah. And also just like that's the phrase. I didn't stand for it. I didn't like it feels very emphatic. Like I'm picturing her like doing this with her fist.
Strategic losing. Eric Izquierdo, on this team, we fight for that inch. Fuck, I want to play that speech. Will we get in trouble? Like, watch us get...
Just
like Mary's not here and I get us banned.
Be like, I trusted you one night.
The Replacements is my favorite foosball movie. Pico, thank you. The Replacements is a great movie. Keanu Reeves playing a star quarterback coming in.
Yeah.
That
one
that was good. Q. It's the rivalry story. The Gators passed down through my ancestry.
Oh, okay.
Ancestry.com, where you learn all about the Gator flop. Okay. Now, moving on. We're going to move off from the sports thing.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about what's on the tip of everybody's tongue.
What?
Joe Rogan.
Oh,
what do you know of this
we
situation?
are the wrong people to be doing this episode.
I mean, yeah. What? I don't know. So here's the thing. The biggest thing, I'm one of those people that I've become the kind of person where it's like I don't know enough about that to talk about it, to give my opinion. Sure. So I'm totally okay with my opinion being corrected by information that comes, whatever. We're not gonna. I do not support Joe Rogan as a healthcare worker. Motherfuck Joe Rogan. Okay, I don't even. No, not even because fucking is good. Sex is great. Joe Rogan can have diarrhea for the rest of his life. I wish Joe Rogan a pebble
IBS?
in his shoe.
You wish him IBS?
I want him to have ulcerative colitis. I want Joe Rogan to be away from Earth. You know what I mean? Like,
not dead, but just away.
I don't want to wish death on anybody, but also like fuck that guy. He's like spreads misinformation as a healthcare worker. Like, do you have any idea how many stupid like? I was in the cafeteria and I heard some people talking about how this guy left AMA, which now I'm saying it out loud. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Well, there's been stories.
Right.
There's been stories like this, not many of them, and they all follow the same kind of pattern. They go into the hospital because they can't breathe, and then they tell them they have COVID, and they're like, "No, you gave me COVID. You're lying. That's not real. Whatever." Oh. And then actually, you know what? There's I was reminded of this story because I saw it on a TikTok of another nurse complaining about how the guy literally left the hospital because the alarms were ringing too much because he had low oxygen. And he was getting mad because the nurses were coming in there to give him more oxygen or to put more. And he's like, I can't sleep or whatever. I don't know. I gave him a southern accent because fuck you.
Sir,
it fits.
Sir, you're not falling asleep. You're passing out. This is very different.
I know you're trying. It's like I know you're trying to sleep, but it's just so your body doesn't have enough oxygen to function. Why is that making so much noise? I need to sleep. And he left. And then his family, like, genuinely were like mad that they could not come visit a COVID patient. You know, like there was like a whole thing. And it's like because of people with such a huge audience like Joe Rogan, which Spotify has paid $100 million or whatever the fuck per episode. I don't even know, like the $100 million a year to have exclusive rights to his podcast.
Right.
Which I'm assuming when they made that deal, they were like, yeah, great, we'll get him. And then now they're like, fuck.
Yeah, now they're stuck in the middle of this thing.
Yes, they have removed a bunch of podcasts, like tens of thousands of podcasts that are putting out COVID misinformation. But Joe Rogan has, you know, somebody on that tells people that, you know, that is spreading misinformation about vaccines. And he's just, hey, I'm just asking questions. Nah, man, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like you there's like a certain level of responsibility with that much audience. And then now some recording artists are like, take my music off Spotify because I don't want it to be associated with this guy.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, do you think that some of the people who are saying that are kind of capitalizing on the fuck Joe Rogan sentimentality because of the fact that realistically many music artists have talked about the fact that the Spotify actually doesn't pay them that well.
Yeah,
like,
but
playing their music. So they're just kind of like, sure, fuck it. And like you're like,
yeah, like they don't lose that much money, but because they pay, like the only people that pay less is like Amazon Music. And so when Neil Young was the kind of the spearhead of like, take my music off the thing, because he's been a fucking protest musician since, back in the
that's what he
60s.
does. Yeah.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, what, pull my stuff off the Spotify. And then starts shilling for Amazon Music. Like, hey, Jeff Bezos, thank you for what they pay less. Like, they're worse to the artists. They just happen. And
Also,
I'm sure
you
there's
probably
plenty of COVID misinformation on fucking Amazon too.
And on top of that, it's one of those things where like you can't all of a sudden say Jeff Bezos is a good guy if you're talking like
no, Jeff Bezos is they're literally cartoonish supervillains. They are comic book villains trying to take all the money that could go to help people and shoot dick-shaped rockets into space.
Yeah. And like ultimately sometimes these platforms that are hosting things, like I think maybe we give them too much power in like their opinion, in the sense of like, I don't know, like I don't feel like we should be like putting any one of these fuckers on a pedestal.
No,
or anything.
Absolutely not. And
or congratulating one over the other for who they're like. It's just one of those things where you're like, bro, fucking stick a warning.
No,
stick a warning on this shit.
It's a nightmare. Now this is interesting, Pico. I don't love Joe Rogan, but I liked his apology. I've not heard
I haven't seen his apology.
an apology. He shouldn't be spreading misinformation. He should stick to entertainment and not make it about health. In quotes. As Fox News says, shut up and dribble. Right, but like he's done it for a long time already. Like he's been doing horrible, like he's responsible for straight up people like taking his advice and dying. Is there a Joe Rogan apology? Do you see something?
I think so. Apparently.
I want to know what it says.
I know. Hold on. My thoughts on where is it? No, that's a video.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I wish there was just writing of it instead, but I can't play that.
Sticking on this topic for a second,
No, this is a show about the apology.
Sometimes I just want someone to just write it out. Like looks forward to coming to the podcast. Because some people were also being like, "Oh, The Rock supports him." Fuck that.
Okay.
No, The Rock doesn't he just like support everyone who's like, "I'm trying to prove," because that's like his whole thing.
Okay. Should I read it?
Oh, did you find it?
I found a transcript of it.
Okay.
Controversial podcast host Joe Rogan has issued an apology after scientific and medical experts accused his hugely popular program of promoting misinformation. Mr. Rogan posted a video on Instagram explaining his position on the matter. Read the transcript of his comments below. Okay. Hello, friends, or whatever he says. I wanted to make a video to address some of the controversy that's been going on over the past few days. And first of all, to say thank you to everyone that sent love and support. I truly, truly appreciate it, and it's been very nice to hear from you. I wanted to make this video, first of all, because I think there's a lot of people that have distorted perception of what I do. Oh, I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming, the bullshit. Okay. It's like, let me just straighten things out before I give you an apology that's like, hey, I'm sorry you got your feelings hurt.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry it took us this long to address the problem. And it's like, no, you apologize for your thing. I'm sorry you feel that way. Have distorted the perception of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging. The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation. I've listened to it, and they're right. Specifically about 2 episodes. They're all of the ones where he starts talking shit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting in. A little bit.
Because I don't know which one is you. I don't know which one's your opinion and what's
yeah. But specifically about 2. One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone. This feels like a lawyer told him to say these words. Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history. Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of the mRNA vaccine technology and is at least partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both of these people are very highly credentialed, very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I have no idea if any of that's true. He just said it. Now, I could go research Dr. Malone and Dr. McCullough, but whatever. I wanted to hear what
exactly make for interesting.
It's the ivermectin guy that got fucked over when he was part of a study. I do know a little bit about this. He was part of a study I think it's that was studying Pepsid and the way it was beneficial to COVID patients. And then he went off the rails into hydrochloroquine and ivermectin, which technically are antivirals and blah 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 blah. But the way that they were being trialed, like he was saying that it was the next thing. Probably and I think there was a thing. I'm speaking out of my ass. I don't have it in front of me, but I know that there was some money changed hands between some manufacturer or whatever, like that for the study to happen. That says that whatever. It's basically like pay for the
It was funded by
mercenary science. You know, like I'm going to hire you to do the work of the science that I need to make the claims that I can.
Right.
You know, that I want to.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to hear what their opinion is, and I had them on. And because of that, those episodes in particular, those episodes were labeled as being dangerous. They are. They had dangerous misinformation in them. The problem I have with the term misinformation, especially today, is that many of the things that we thought of as misinformation just a short while ago are now accepted as fact.
It doesn't really sound like an apology so far.
No way at all. Like, for instance, 8 months ago, if you said if you get vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID, you'd be removed from social media. Not true. That is a fucking straight up lie. They would ban you from certain platforms. Now that's accepted as fact. What the fuck are you? Okay. If you said I don't think cloth masks work, you would be banned from social media. There's nuance to that. Fucking idiot. Now that's openly and repeatedly stated on CNN. If you said I think it's possible that COVID-19 came from a lab, you'd be banned from many social media platforms. Now that's on the cover of Newsweek. All of those theories that at one point in time were banned were openly discussed by those two men that I had on my podcast that had been accused of dangerous
any of those things being banned. Like I do remember.
No, he's exaggerating.
I do remember them being like some things being like, oh, is that really it? That like it was always part of the conversation.
And then I do not know if they're right. I don't know because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who sits down and talks to people and has conversations with them. Do I get things wrong? Absolutely. Not an apology. I get things wrong, but I try to correct them. Whenever I get something wrong, I try to correct it because I'm interested in telling the truth. I'm interested in finding out what the truth is, and I'm interested in having interesting conversations with people that have differing opinions. I'm not interested in only talking to people that have one perspective. That's one of the reasons why I had Sanjay Gupta on. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who I respect very much, and I really enjoyed our conversation together. He has a different opinion than those men do. I had Dr. Michael Osterholm on at the very beginning of the pandemic. He is on President Biden's COVID-19 advisory board. I had Peter, okay, who is a vaccine expert. I'm interested in finding out what is correct. I'm also finding out how people come to these conclusions and what the facts are. How the fuck long is this thing? Joni Mitchell also removed her music.
Is he just essentially saying the same thing that a lot of people have said, being like he's just the guy behind a mic, and like other people are just glorifying him? Because I've known many people who are like cultish about how much they follow him, which that I won't necessarily blame him for, because like fan people are fan people. Like, you know, I don't think a lot of famous people out there would be like, "How dare you?" Love
Whatever.
me?
Yeah, I'll put this in the chat.
You know, like the amount of like I dated someone who used to freaking swear by Alpha Brain and all the supplements and like do everything.
He literally sells non-FDA approved supplements and then was talking shit about the vaccine not being FDA approved. Like, motherfucker, you make money off of stuff that's not approved by the FDA. Oh, I've had the Pico comment up this whole time.
Ooh.
How would people know our names? But like he is so.
What did Pico say after that? He said Joe Rogan.
The guy that left the hospital also didn't stand for the gator flop. Yes,
for Nary Pico.
That was Nary.
Yeah,
Pico. Joe Rogan is famous for being the dumb guy in news radio. Not anymore. He is not even the Fear Factor guy. He is Joe motherfucking Rogan from the UFC and from his podcast, arguably bigger than even the UFC. His UFC audience.
He's the reason I know most of the people I know who do jiu-jitsu now do it because of Rogan.
And look, I'm not saying he isn't a good commentator for the UFC. That's a
Mm.
good gig. He doesn't have to talk about global public health crises on the fucking UFC fights. He just
Yeah.
sticks to what he knows. That's the thing. That's what he knows. And the whole concept of like, he's been up his own ass about shit for so long. And when he had like, he's had Jordan Peterson on in the past. He's had like when he has Ben Shapiro on, when he talks about trans people, like his, you know, like there's so much of the stuff that he says with like absolute authority. In like it makes it sound, and then afterwards he's like, oh well, you know, I don't really know, I'm not that guy. It's like, well, why the fuck didn't you say it like that, Joe Rogan? Words matter. And Neri's right, it's more of an explanation than an apology.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's like, I don't care why you did it, man. I know
so
why
funny.
you did it.
It's so
You
funny
gotta
because
listen.
the moment you even just write Joe Rogan apology, right, the things that pop up are so vastly different from each other. It's like Dwayne Johnson praises Joe Rogan for his apology. Another article, like something from like Futurism, like Joe Rogan issues absolutely terrible apology, and then the View host praised Joe Rogan for a refreshing apology, and I'm just like, sometimes it does feel like I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I understand how some people could feel like you're fucked if you do, fucked if you don't.
This is
like, I do kind of get that sometimes. I'm looking at that, I'm like, God, really,
right.
Like, no matter what he says at the moment, people are gonna pissed off.
And the thing is that, yeah, look, if you have that big of an audience, there is
It's gonna bite you in the ass.
There is that whole snake eating its own tail of fandom, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because even if he does, like, to be honest, with the fans that he has now and how vocal they are, even if he did start taking either a different stance or maybe putting an asterisk on things a little more, or like trying to do things a little in a way that would actually appease some of like his like people who aren't fans of him at the minute, his fans would get pissed.
Well, he had on a guy that talked about climate change being not real, right? So forget about COVID misinformation. That's like reality misinformation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. It's not an equal argument. There is 1,000. There's 99.99999% of scientists that say one thing, and you want to talk to that one guy because, hey, everyone's opinion is equal. No. This guy's opinion is outweighed by literally everyone else. So you don't have to talk to this guy. I could have an opinion that climate change is caused by, you know, like cracks in the earth and a fucking celestial is coming out of it because I watched Eternals and I thought it was real because I'm so fucking crazy. You know, like I could have that theory, write and publish something on fucking WordPress, create a site that looks pretty official, send it to Joe Rogan and be like, hey, you want to come talk about my celestial seed climate change theory? No, of course not. So why are you talking to these people that say it doesn't exist when we obviously do? I'm sorry. It does not make sense. And then this is the telling thing. In the search results when you type in Joe Rogan apology, one of them is Spotify stock rebounds after Joe Rogan apology.
Of course.
I mean, yes, corporate overlords. Yeah. I mean, that's it. He's probably stuck in that contract too. I mean, I for sure, no company wants this bad press, especially Spotify that already has so much bad press for not paying people enough.
Right.
To give, Spotify has got $100 million to give to Joe Rogan, but they're paying like 0.3 of a cent to every stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck Joe Rogan. Enough of that guy. Fuck. That's all the information. Unless there's anything you'd like to add. Final moments. Final Joe Roganisms.
I don't know. Honestly, I have such complicated feelings when it comes to his stuff because, like, it's very much like, okay, I like South Park. I like Rick and Morty. A lot of people who like Rick and Morty, who are huge fans of it, kind of fucking suck.
Kinda, yeah.
Kind of fucking suck. The fandom is not great a lot of times. Like, fandom for things can sometimes get toxic, just like Star Wars. Like, any fandom, like, can get toxic. And I feel like as if Joe Rogan could be one of those people who's kind of famous enough where he all of a sudden has formed these fanboys who have like glommed on to maybe certain parts of him that maybe that's not all he is. And he's
we've
like,
talked about psychosocial relationships on this show before where people are like, that's my friend. Yeah. I am a valuable person because of I agree with this popular person. Yeah. Like that kind of one-sided, like, no, I have to defend my friend. that motherfucker doesn't know who you are. Like that.
Yeah.
That's not anything.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is that it is very strong for the people who believe it, for the people who have these relationships. Like it's in the nerd communities, like the McElroys. I don't know if you know the Adventure Zone and the My Brother and Me. Those guys, their fandom is one of those where it's only like good vibes only, but to the point of being toxically positive, like toxic positivity.
Yeah.
That ignores all the but basically it creates an environment where there's no such thing as criticism.
Yeah.
Because
in the moment you have any kind of critique, it's like, how dare you?
And in reality,
place.
Yeah,
it's very, there is no war in Bonsing say.
It started as a couple, as like a bunch of
that
brothers.
That was like an Avatar reference.
What'd you say?
I made some random Avatar reference. There is no war in Bonsing say. Like,
yes, there. Yeah, exactly. Yes. That is a perfect metaphor, because it becomes this thing of like, what? No, they're great. And then any flaw in them, suddenly you take it personally. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Then that must mean that I am wrong. And then it's like, yeah, maybe.
I actually used to listen to the podcast. Like, not My Brother and Me. I don't have the time to sit down. Like, I have way too many podcasts I'm listening to right now. I will one day, because I do hear good.
I'm doing audiobooks now, so it's not that I'm better than you, but I'm just kidding.
I'd be lying if it's like, oh, I would love to say I'm doing audiobooks. I'm actually just listening to like a lot of like Dimension 20 and
Dimension 20. That is a, like, the D&D fandom is one of those both toxic nerdity and gatekeepy and all that stuff, and toxic positivity, like both ends of the spectrum.
It's fascinating.
It is
fucking fascinating.
It is an anthropological study needs to be done about just Dungeons and Dragons players.
Yeah.
Because
depending on what generation you've come in, and even at what edition you came in.
Yeah, or even just nerd culture.
Ooh, nerd culture is fucking
nerd culture in general is one of those things that like isn't a real thing, and it's just a marketing tool. Like millennials and Gen Z, it's just a marketing tool. It literally is an advertiser's term. None of that is based on any kind of like. Realistically, the only generational shifts aren't years. It's technology. Really. That's literally it. And then so all the like, oh, I was born in 80, whatever. No, you even the micro generations are separated based on which Nintendo you had.
Like, did you have to blow into the cartridge? Like, didn't you have to?
I swear to you, it's true. Like, have you ever known life without a smartphone? There are adults now who have never not had a smartphone.
Oh my god, I explained the other day the reference to like a landline to my niece, like the thing of like being on the phone and twirling the string. There was a thing. That was a thing you did.
You used to just leave your house without your phone? It's like, I
wasn't taking the whole thing with me.
I remember, those
cell phones are still so rare that I used to have the Nokia brick, but like the ones you could actually change and customize, like the case and everything too. I once lost my phone, and within weeks, someone else in the school found it in like my school, which is one of the most populated schools in the entire fucking country, because they recognized it. Because like phones are still so rare and unique and all these things that they were like, oh, that's that one girl's phone.
It's like cars now. Every car kind of looks the same. Every phone now kind of looks the same. There's no like uniqueness struggling through the barriers of infant technology, whatever. But yeah, like all of those.
My pink hair is just because I can't decorate my phone.
Why do you think tattoos have gotten so popular?
I
know. Pico wants us to get to the asshole. Let's get to Am I the Asshole? So I would say Joe Rogan is the asshole. If that were an Am I the Asshole segment, then Joe Rogan is an asshole.
No, speaking of Reddit, we were talking earlier off air about the fact that we do tend to just go over Am I the Asshole quite a bit on the show. And there is so many. Well, look, Reddit is I
got one. So I'm going through the chat, and we're not going to do an Am I the Asshole, but we are going to do something. Think about this. Like, we need to pro versus con, or whose side are you on? Kind of argument.
Okay.
Here's the headline:
But what form did you find? Is it if I'm also one or
No.
What subreddit did you find it on?
It's I think it might be relationship advice or one of those other like ones, but it's not in the image. I'm sorry, I don't have the subreddit that it is from.
Okay.
But the title is "My Dying Wife Asked Me If I'd Be Okay If She Had Sex with Her Ex One Last Time." Okay, are we all on board with the premise? My dying wife asked me if I'd be okay if she had sex with her ex one last time. Okay, here we go. Let that sit for a second.
Yeah, I'm marinating. I'm in it.
Yeah. Feel them juices.
Yeah.
I can't have this tied to my main, but I really need to say something about it and have no one I can tell. So this is a throwaway account. My wife has a terminal disease. She is projected to live at most 9 months. I am, of course, destroyed. We've been together for a decade. I don't remember life without her, and I don't know what I'm going to do when she's gone. I have been doing my best to make the last days of her life good and grant whatever wish I can. This is not going to be an easy choice. The doctors said that she will likely need she was likely to need a wheelchair in 4 or 5 months. Then by month 8, she'll be bedridden for the last few weeks. That's if she doesn't decline faster. Recently, she sat me down and told me that one of the things she wanted to do was have sex with a previous partner of hers. I, of course, was shocked, and when I asked why the fuck she wants that, so basically, she thinks that her most physically compatible, satisfying lover was him. She gave a whole monologue about how sex sometimes is just physical and how emotionally fulfilling sex is with me, but it was bullshit to get to that point. So now I'm left with this. Deny my dying wife a wish for her own ego. Deny my dying wife a wish for my own ego, or let her go fuck another man who she feels was better. Honestly, I'm so pissed off and betrayed that she asked this of me. I feel like I'm put in a position where I have to say yes because she's dying. I know what I want to say, but I don't know if that's right. I'm so hurt that sex with an ex was apparently so good that she needs to do it once before she dies. I hate everything about this. A real fucker of a catch-22 situation.
Holy fuck. That is a selfish choice. That is a...
Neri posted this in the thread earlier, and I don't know if he meant for us to do it on the show or not, but I've been thinking about this all day. Just because, not for myself, but more like, because I have no idea what I would do in this situation.
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
I don't know. So no. I know what I would logically do, but I have no idea if I would react logically to this. Right?
Because the thing is, like, you're so tied up in your desperation to please this person and your love for them and your devotion to them that you want to do anything to make them happy, especially with like mortality on the line, like the death facing them, that you're like, I don't want to deny you anything but for death. But then also, how are you supposed to, you're the one who has to keep living with that. Like, you have to live the rest of your life knowing that your one and only did not want your connection at the end.
I think,
and it's just one of those things where, like, all of a sudden, like, bro, if this is her life literally flashing before her eyes, was the last 10 years, like, just
imagine the dude's position to hear that.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like, I can't help but also just think of this guy, because the thing is, like, yes, imagining this woman not wanting to miss a certain thing before she dies, sure, but like, how distraught and in denial does she have to be to bring this up to her person?
Yeah,
and be like, hey, like, she must be just very in this denial fuck it space where she's like, I'm not gonna be here soon.
Yeah, I think Hilda put it best with oof.
Yes.
Oofa doofa. What the, like, genuinely, Pico, short and sweet. She's dying. Fuck it. I mean, Yes,
No,
but
Chiquita brings up a good point.
Chiquita, we don't need to know what she says. No, just kidding. No, but also, why would she ask? Just do it. The fact that she even asked why, so hurtful for the husband, so unfair. So no, final answer. And also, rot in hell for even asking.
Right?
Damn, baby.
No matter what, he has to live with that shit. And like Chiquita brings up a good point. Like, would you count it against this woman for just doing a quick cheat before she dies?
I mean, first of all,
and for the sake of not hurting the person she loves, like, but also like, I would, anyone who wasn't dying, I'd be like, you're a dickhead.
Here's
She's
where
a dickhead anyway.
Here's where I'm at with this as someone who wants to make jokes. I would like.
I'm traumatized. I've been sitting here having an actual like reaction. I'm like, ah.
I would like to joke around about this dying woman's request for dick. I would like to. I am not a bad person, but I am on a show where we are talking about this story. Now, from many perspectives, first of all, how does this woman know that this ex would even want to do it? Right? Like, he's a person. She's still thinking of that man as the
also,
dick
it's been a fucking
that dicked her down. Yeah, like, what if he's off his game?
Yeah, like he's probably had other partners since then. Like, he may not be the same lay. Like, I've gone back to like past experiences in the past and just been like, oh, I should have not revisited. It's kind of like, you know, when you watch a movie like that you used to love as a kid and then you watch it again and you're like, oh, this doesn't hold up. Like, it's the same thing with exes. Like,
we have a saying for that on this show called kid eyes. I do not want to use that for what you're talking about.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, but you do have like time away from an ex like sexual partner does sometimes just give it just the good bits, and then you don't remember maybe like the really unpleasant feeling of that person's body hair when they just shaved, or like
what if the sex was like, good because of where you were in your life at that time.
But like
and now that you're dying, you go back and you fuck that guy, you cheat on your husband before you die. His last thought of you is you fucking another guy, and it's not gonna be the same. It's not.
Like, you're fucking this guy, and the entire time you're like, I'm an asshole, I'm a dickhead, I'm this, and you're just like sitting there and just being like, I'm just gonna try to fuck myself back to life. Like,
what a sentence. I mean, at this point, like, because in your mind, you'd have to know that there's no way it would be the same. It will fall short of whatever your expectation is. At this point, why wouldn't you just buy like one of those like jackhammer dildos, vibrating things, and like destroy yourself before like die on a dildo? Like who go out on one of those like
literally go out with a bang?
Yeah, like why? Because at least that way it's not cheating. Maybe your husband will be involved in running the machine, or you know,
get into some kinky shit with your husband, like. Go crazy. Go to a freaking like a eyes wide shut party. I don't know, man, but like keep the man involved.
Like she's literally saying these last 10 years are not important enough as an orgasm I had 12 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, like I still think about a fuck I had 12 years ago over everything we've built together.
Exactly. I don't know if they have kids or not.
And I'd be like, and I know you love me, but I don't love you enough to give a fuck how you feel after I'm gone.
Yes. Oh my God. It's like, okay, it's not the same thing, but remember the movie Indecent Proposal where Robert Redford offers Demi Moore $1 million and then Woody Harrelson is like, yeah, do it. Yeah, man, it's $1 million. Go for it. And then it destroys everybody involved.
Sure.
Yeah, like that. Like,
yeah, except it's like a disease. It's not $1 million. He doesn't get to invest this shit in Bitcoin.
Pico, explain this, Pico. It says, "Lo, the X thing makes it weird, but she's dying." Right? She's dying, but the thing, like, it's not about it being weird. It's about she's gonna go out. She is allowed to do whatever she wants, but she's with a man who then is not dying.
Mm.
Is it like sensitive? Is it her is she the asshole for throwing everything away for like knowing that this man will have to live with that after disease, like because at this point the disease isn't taking her from him. She is leaving him in her final hours before death, like a real death,
but like with permission to still be like, oh, but the last few months I want you to be there holding my hand at the end after my hand has been done doing other things. Like
Neri says should have just cheated. Like genuinely, I'm never going to say cheating is okay, but this time cheating is okay. Like, just do it. You're gonna be dead, and you would rather him not know. You know what I mean? Like, it's because it's not the cheating doesn't destroy relationships. It's the suspicion and knowledge of cheating that destroys relationships. Ignorance is bliss in certain situations, especially if there's if you trust your partner. There's no reason, they've never given you any reason to distrust them. If they have, why are they still your partner? And if they haven't, then it's you being paranoid, you know? Oh, hold on, Chiquita, I gotta make sure. Well, if we were going to joke around, then denying a dying lady's last wish. I mean, see, okay.
This is not a cigarette. This is not a cigarette before the firing line, though.
It's like, what's your last meal before we put you to the electric chair? Dick.
This is dark. We've gone dark today. I know, but also, like, what about this ex guy? Like, wouldn't he have questions? Like, wouldn't he have questions? And if, like, who is the guy? And, like, all of a sudden, like, if you're the guy and, like, you weren't interested in your ex anymore, like, maybe she just really doesn't look the same. Like, you're not into her shit anymore. And you weren't a fan, right? Like, maybe she liked it more than you liked hers.
It's not the best lay he's ever had.
Right? What if he's, like, just okay with it? But then she calls him and she tells him she's dying. Like, how is he supposed to, like, how is that supposed to work?
What if, here's the thing. What if she has built up this relationship in her mind for the last 12 years and it was never, like, she goes to the guy and the guy's like, what?
Being like, oh yeah, like,
what if she's crazy? He's like, I never slept with you. What are you talking about?
Or like, it's one of those things where he's just like, oh yeah, I was on some shit then. Like,
it's like cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm music where it's like, oh no, it was that other guy. Like, she fucks this guy and then she's like, oh, my mistake. That wasn't the guy that. No, it wasn't this one. I confused it for another guy. It's been 12 years. What do you want from me?
It's been 12 years. I was partying a lot that weekend. Actually, let's go back. Someone else, like.
No, I got a list. We'll have a list. We'll start here, and then until I get to the right one, I'm gonna screw all these guys.
This is the world's weirdest Make-A-Wish.
Oh my god. Oh. What's this? Neri Science. The ex would want to do it because, well, the ex is still a dude. Yes, yeah. Neri, yes. Chiquita, talking about the former boyfriend saying no to that wish.
Yo, right here.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Oh man. Oh. This is like I've been rolling this around in my head since I read it. And well, here's the thing.
What would you do? Like, what would you do?
She wants to do it. So okay, so there's definitely a time frame in which this would have to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Because if she's going to be in a wheelchair.
Like, do you think she's already in his DMs?
She has been for 12 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that this is out of the blue. You know what I mean? Like, unless I mean, I don't know, man. If like a lot of weird things happen. Like, this is in all seriousness, when you're faced with like the end, you reevaluate a lot of things. There's a million movies about it, you know,
sure, yeah.
and in real life, you know, it happens.
Mhm.
I saw some. I've seen a guy in the ER just want a divorce, like suddenly, like get out, and you're not my wife anymore, and I don't want this anymore. And then we were all like, okay, I will continue drawing blood, and that I will continue evaluating you, or just like,
would you like some ice chips?
would you like us to call security? But yeah,
yeah. Sorry, we can validate your parking.
yeah.
Over there.
Neri, maybe your husband will be involved in killing you. That's true. That's true. It's like, yeah, I'll let you fuck that guy only if you let me kill you after.
Yeah. Be like, I'm gonna turn off. I'm flicking the switch. I'm flicking the switch early.
Oh, this is so where he's
Fucked.
like, yeah, because suddenly she has to put her life back in this guy's hands.
Yeah.
What if
At the
he's
very
like,
end, when
she's gonna be in a
she's at-
wheelchair?
when
What if
she-
he's like wheelchairing her next to a cliff or something, and is like, yeah, go call your ex-boyfriend for that. You know, like what happens?
Yeah. Like it's one of those things where like how do you, like she trusts him so much to be
Oof,
like there
I
at the
know.
very end and to like put her life in his hands, the whole thing.
Oh my god.
This sounds like the makings of one of those like Lifetime
Yes.
like movie things or like an SVU episode of
Right.
like what happened to this woman. Oh, it turns out she wanted to fuck this guy. Oh, this husband that we thought was super devoted. Turns out he's a bit
I know
he's cuckolded by guilt.
he was cuckolded by time.
Yeah.
Like a time machine. Like he genuinely, by a memory, she's like, you've never been as good as this memory
Yeah.
that I have. Like we've been talking. I've been on a text thread with my friend Will Watkins, hilarious guy.
Newest Captain America.
Yes, he no, I swear to God, he needs to cosplay comic book Aquaman. He looks like fucking Arthur Curry from the comic book. He is so good. He's so in shape. Right?
More power to him, bro.
He looks fantastic. I keep telling him he should go like whatever.
And it helps that he's still so fucking funny. Like you're like,
Yeah,
you know what?
he's
That's
great
great.
guy. We were talking about the Book of Boba Fett and Star Wars and how people were like shitting all over it. And it's like, and I got so mad. It's like all of the people complaining about it would be like the kind of person who like couldn't enjoy an orgasm because it wasn't as good as a half remembered nut from before. You know, like something they've altered in their mind that to be better than it was originally. You know, like everyone was like, oh my God, I fucking love Thundercats. Have you watched Thundercats as an adult?
No.
The animation is terrible. The only good
You
thing about
revisit old shit.
there's some things that do still hold up, but you run the risk. Like the only good thing about 80s and 90s cartoons were the intros, like the theme songs and the opening animation that they put all the money into, and then the rest of it was just like, you know, half fucking done.
No, it's just like, rah, 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 rah,
Yeah,
rah, like,
blue lasers, red lasers, you know.
yeah.
But we can't end the show on this note.
No.
So I have another thing that I think is worth.
Although, wait, Chicken made another
Oh
comment.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I better be the primary beneficiary of your life insurance, bish.
You've been warned.
Well, if you would have asked nicely, but because you call me a bish, and you didn't have the courage to say bitch. See, that's what I want. Is I want you to be true to yourself because I know what you meant. I want you to communicate with me effectively and honestly and openly, and call me a bitch if you feel it.
I'm just waiting for her to respond with bitch.
Yeah, probably. But I will leave
She's
you.
gonna wait till you're off the air.
I'm
Just
gonna
like,
leave
in your ear, bitch.
Oh yeah. I have to go to her later. When this ends, my life will continue, much like that guy's life after his wife dies.
And this man's gonna need so much therapy. So much therapy.
Well,
honestly, I've done that thing of like revisiting ex-partners before. And like because I was single and I had the memory of things being fun, and then the moment like we hooked up, and in my head I was like, oh, it wasn't that it was fun, is that we didn't fucking know what we were doing yet, and you still don't.
Shots fucking fired. Chiquita, Hilda with the gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. Yes, Yes, undefeated. Those cartoons were the best. They all
And
had
I
great
will not
cartoons.
rewatch them for the fear
do
that they
not.
won't. No.
Chiquita, not me,
Funny.
not you, love. If I were that guy, great, good. Yes.
Right. True that.
Yeah, that's very sweet. But we'll end on this more positive note because I
Okay.
know this might be relevant to your interests. My Q aunt was saved ... by BTS. I shit you not. That's the title of this post.
My what?
A Q aunt, a QAnon, like an ant that is a Q
Oh,
person.
QAnon.
A Q person, an aunt of this person's. I made 2 posts on this sub in the past about my liberal left-wing Q aunt who descended down the rabbit hole of Q lore, from cabals who eat kids to Democrats / Hollywood celebs trafficking people to Epstein Island. Actually, that one's true. One day, it all just stopped. She stopped sharing Q stuff, stopped believing in it, started talking about liberal stuff again like it never happened. I was baffled. Did she have dementia? A stroke? I found out the answer. It was Korean boy band BTS.
The fuck?
She started getting into K-pop as soon as Dynamite was released. And dear Lord, now she knows their names, their mom's names, their favorite food, etc. From what she told me, they inspired her to be a better person. They would make donations to Black Lives Matter, rally for accessible mental health for all, and promote self-love and compassion. And now she is an army. And I guess that's that. I'm not a big BTS fan, but if you're reading this and are BTS or a member of the army, thank you. What the fuck? Thanks so much. What a plot twist. I'm going to go lie down now. So for all of you,
this is where fandoms go right then.
It is like the BTS fandom is like a weird army for good. They're like good trouble army. Like
because they go after like people who do weird like bad shit all the time, and then they'll do like really like innocent stuff to fuck with them.
Like when like when they were giving away tickets to that Trump rally in Arizona or wherever it was, that they were like, we're gonna have to open an outdoor space. Millions of people are coming. Oh my god!
And it just turns out it was a bunch of BTS fans being like, ha, 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 ha.
It's because the website did not cap and did not use unique identifiers to request those tickets. Everybody, and so all of the BTS army went and just they got fucked over by TikTok teens.
Yeah.
And it was bad. It was
there's times where I just love Gen Z so much. I
forget about Gen Z. I refuse to use those labels anymore. These people did a great job. Good work, people. So look, I think we've found the solution. We just need to do that thing that they did in Ghostbusters 2, where they spray the good slime.
Yes.
And they start playing that.
And they fix New York.
Taking me higher and higher. Well, we do it with BTS. We just got to go into the heart of the South.
And just cover them in boy band slime.
We got to get a band with big speakers. And we got to start boy banding it up out there. I guarantee you, we will change some minds.
Yeah. Like some of them will at least be like, he kind of pretty.
They were like, I'm confused by all this androgyny. So it has deactivated my anger in a way that I was not prepared for.
I all of a sudden understand pronouns.
I mean, is this what they mean by they, them?
Yeah.
Is this what they mean by they, them? I mean, that's fine. It's just a pretty man. Sorry, a pretty person. Oh, yeah. Yes. Good.
I am learning.
Rights for all people. Black Lives Matter. Man.
It's all about unlearning.
It's all about unlearning. Is there anything any topics we did not get to? No, we got it all. Eminem and Dolly Parton. Nailed it. Dolly Parton is the best. Go to Dollywood. I would Chiquita, get ready. Next time we go visit my dad, I want us to go to Dollywood. Then Brien Flores, Susie NFL, and the shitstorm that is the Dolphins organization.
As a person on the outside, like that was fascinating to me.
It's wild. And people are pissed at Spotify, aka Joe Rogan enablers. And then we got the weird
which I have complicated feelings about that one. I have complicated feelings when it comes to that stuff.
About the Joe Rogan thing?
Yeah.
It's hard because you know what's fucked up, because one thing we didn't talk about is that in the same stories, in the same news segment, they were talking about Joe Rogan having his speech be cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were not talking about Texas schools, a division of the government that runs off of your and my tax dollars, that is actually held accountable by the First Amendment, banning books for children. Did you not hear about this?
No.
They're literally going crazy, banning anything that could possibly be critical race theory, portray some things in a negative light, portray white slavery, all that shit. Like they're banning, literally like banning books Nazi style, and they are literally, one of them, a private organization, a private company making profits off of this person and enabling them to speak freely, and people voicing their opinions on it, which is not a violation of the First Amendment. And all these First Amendment people are focusing on this one. Right. When there's literally government or agencies banning and censoring literature in a violation of the First Amendment.
Bro,
here, and they're like,
the way this reminds me
how they're related.
Fahrenheit 451. Hands down, one of my favorite books of all time.
I've never read it.
So good. So fucking good. And so relevant to nowadays. Like, I'm constantly reminded of it. I'm not going to be
one of those motherfuckers that says it's like 1984. I've never read it. I don't know. I only know the pop culture references of 1984. So I'm not going to say.
So like Fahrenheit 451 is about like burning books. It's about a guy who's like a fireman, a firefighter. Like that's what his job is. And it's the importance of is burning books. And it just shows the change in him and when he starts reading them and things. But like you get to see things through his eyes and like him looking at the society around him, because even I think it's his wife. Yeah, I think it's his wife. His relationship with her, and you start seeing how kind of shallow it is because she's constantly distracted and like not fully invested in him because she's distracted by all these multiple screens all over the wall with all these talking heads. And it's practically sometimes like she's talking to some of them and interacting, and it's never, I don't remember if it was very clear if she actually is interacting or she feels like she has a relationship with them, which always reminds me of the parasocial thing. But like, I'm literally sitting in a room and I have 4 different, 5, 6, 7 screens in this room.
We are living. Okay. That's one of those things where I saw a tweet where it was like, a writer writes a science fiction story about the horrors of this technology that is like an example of like a horrible thing, and we should never do that. Cut to 20 years later, giant multinational corporation. We've created the horror machine that you know and love from the book Fahrenheit 4, whatever the fuck. Yeah, like it's like, hey, did you not learn the lesson? Yeah.
Like, hey guys, we made a T-1000. Isn't that fun?
Skynet. And
Skynet is a thing.
Isn't it so funny? We called it Skynet, so it's like ironic. It's like, no, that's the monster thing. You were specifically told not to make Skynet by the people.
I'm sure there's still scientists who are still trying to clone the fucking dinosaurs. Like they're still trying to do the thing with the dinosaurs at all times.
All right, that's kind of cool. I'm going to be okay with dinosaurs.
I just want to find out if my constant joke is true and that T-Rexes are really just giant chickens.
They are. Okay, that's a whole topic for another story. We got to talk about it off mic because I will get passionate. Also, and on a final note, show BTS to your weird Q family members, and they will be reclaimed.
I'm going to try it. I have one person I can test it out on.
Yes, you send it, and we'll talk about. We'll get updates on the next episode of WuBro. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching to What's Up, Bro podcast. I am Mike Mercado. This is Stephanie Mayer Sr. We've been talking straight for an hour. We did it, just the 2 of us. Isn't that exciting?
I'm so proud. And like, I only screamed "Eat the Rich" like 4 times.
I know, yeah. I didn't reach for the hat at all.
No. There's some times we probably could have.
Yeah, we totally could have. If you are listening to this in the future on the podcast, on the audio podcast, you can watch us live every Wednesday, 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on the scheduling. But you will always be able to see us if you follow at WuBroPod on Twitter or follow us on Facebook, What's Up Bro Podcast. Mm-hmm. You can follow me at Mike Mercadal. You can follow Steph at what's your hello?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to put it on the other thing. Yeah, it's hello. Yeah, hello_my dear Watson.
Yeah. And you can follow at Nary Signs. Where's at Nary Signs? He's out today, but follow him anyway. And then you can listen to all the other shows on the Geek Bro Network at geekbro.net. Kickflix podcast. The latest episode that we put up as of this recording is Police Story. You can go listen to our us watching Jackie Chan's gigantic first epic Police Story movie and all of the crazy stunts and the weird incel misogyny that is in that movie that you don't realize it until you go back and you watch it. So it's odd. The stunts, fantastic, but it is there's a lot of weird. Go watch the episode.
Okay.
Shiver podcast, Crimacopia, Better Let Me Tell You, Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez. All the shows are there. Just go on to geekbro.net. You can see them all. And Geekbro Network on YouTube for all the shows as well. Mount Geekmore as well. That's the one I was forgetting. Thank you everybody for watching. And let me see here. That's how winning is done.